All right, and we're going to bring on the king of Colorado meth as a mute.
Woohoo! Yeah!
And the one and only Canadian Glenn.
My meth.
Good evening. Good evening.
Anyways,
Good evening.
Could I ask a question for Gonzo PhD? I'm just kind of curious. What do you feel about the whisper kind of thing that was going around with everything about that? Just we enter privacy, but no, we don't. We actually bring out their geographic location.
Well, whisper was a guy named Jonathan Zdarsky, who's one of the preeminent U.S. forensic specialists in the United States. He works with a lot of law enforcement and whatnot. I can actually I'll tweet out his Twitter handle here in 10 or 15 minutes if you want to follow him. He went into Whisper and tore it down and found out that even if you asked Whisper not to locate you, Whisper located you, generally speaking, even with your geolocation off. They seem to be able to get to sometimes within 100 feet of you. They were using Facebook Analytics inside their code. It was built for an anonymous system. It was built to track the fuck out of you. So if it was to come to pass that that was run by some sort of agency or another, I would be I would be unsurprised. And Whisper is a fucking disaster. I never would have considered using it myself anyway. Just that's not the way. That's not my.
It's kind of like Ello, but
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I don't go for anonymizing mobile apps, especially if it's not open source, if it can't be audited. Not that I can audit code, because I can't write a single goddamn line of code, but I know enough to know that if it's not open source and it can't be audited, then in all reality, eventually somebody's going to poke a hole in it. And I will use as an example the black phone, which was touted as this just be-all, end-all, encrypted end-to-end, blah, 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 blah. At DEF CON, somebody grabbed the black phone and rooted the fuck out of it real quick and found like 2 or 3 holes, and Black Phone gave him a T-shirt that said something like, thank you for rooting a black phone or something. But I mean, after all this work, you get one corporate, one white hat that pulled their pants down and stuck a broomstick up their ass after tens of millions of dollars worth of development, rewriting an Android ROM to be very hardened, found flaws in it really quickly and quite easily. Pretty fucking embarrassing. And if that's the kind of, that's an $800, unlocked contract-free phone with all this security features and whatnot in it, somebody selling something, or better yet, somebody like giving something away, like Whisper, with an ad that pops up for the latest stupid fucking app to play some RPG game for 99 cents. I can't take any of that shit seriously. When Snapchat came up, my first thought was, this is going to be a debacle. And it's been a debacle. I mean, for one thing, you want to send me something that expires in 15 seconds? That's cool, because I can push 2 buttons on my iPad and screenshot the fucking thing. Hence, it has not disappeared. It is now mine. And so, I mean, there's just too many loopholes in these things. I will say this, the one app that I've looked into that I haven't seen holes poked in, I wouldn't use it if I was in Syria to communicate back and forth, but Wicker does seem to have been the least abused by security researchers. Wicker seems to be a pretty reasonable, lightweight peer-to-peer privacy app. Or, well, it's not peer-to-peer because there's a server in the middle. But they go to pretty great lengths to keep your stuff fairly anonymous. I don't think I would be plotting the overthrow of a third world island country on that. But as an app for Android or iOS or whatever, if you want to talk dirty to your girlfriend and you don't want a man in the middle attack at the local Starbucks, if you're using a VPN and Wicker, I think that, you telling her that you just got your name tattooed on, or got her name tattooed on your dick is probably not going to be read by some guy having a pumpkin spice chai latte 3 tables down. So.
Yeah. The other thing that came to light this week was, I don't know if you heard about Annunaki, the Kickstarter.
You mean the $10 Chinese router with the guy that raised $600,000 in a week, and then you couldn't explain what the fuck he was doing, and somebody went to Alibaba and looked it up, and it was a $10 router, and it with all sorts of holes shot through it, and that was almost a really, really, really huge, profitable fraud that got pulled off, allegedly.
Yeah, well, I am not a coder, programmer, hacker, cracker, any of that shit. I seen the Kickstarter campaign for this product, and I was like, motherfucker, I want that. I want that. I want 2 of those. I want 3 of those. I want 1 of those for fucking everywhere I'm ever going to go so that I can fucking be invisible online. And, that,
Well, let me tell you, give you an update. The Gruck, it's THEGRUGQ, who is a fairly famous zero-day salesman who lives in Thailand, is working on one of these that's open source that actually fucking works. And the source code will be available on GitHub or GitHub or whatever, however the fuck you want to pronounce it, for peer review. And apparently he's going to, I believe, release a physical device in December, which, knowing him, may actually be based on a $10 Alibaba router, but it'll be done right, and he won't fuck it up. This is the kind of guy that goes to a security conference, comes back to his hotel room, and things have been moved around. I mean, he's a very interesting individual, and his real-life persona is easily researched online, and he's just a top-tier zero-day guy, and he's a fucking genius. And he's decided to build basically one of these. I guess he's been working on something like this for a while. He'd be the guy to follow on Twitter for, I think it's THEGRUGQ.
Actually, just found him, just followed him, and tweeting out, or putting it in the chat room for those listening so that they can check him out as well.
But that guy got destroyed. I saw what happened with Annunaki, and he was stupid enough to head over to Reddit and throw up an AMA, where a bunch of people who knew more about what he was doing than he did asked him about 200 questions, and since it was an AMA, he was supposed to answer a question. He did not answer a single question. He didn't even try to defer. He was so far out of his league. And I saw the picture that he posted on Kickstarter and the Alibaba router, and the picture that he posted on Kickstarter was the Alibaba router, which had a Chinese imprint in the middle. Now, I do a bunch of Photoshop. He hadn't even actually used a clone tool in Photoshop, which would have taken the texture from around the Chinese characters and stamped it over the Chinese characters to make it look like the Chinese characters were never there. He basically just ran a smear tool down the Chinese characters, which wiped them out, and posted that picture on Kickstarter. I mean, as far as forensic Photoshop goes, I know my forensic Photoshop pretty fucking well, and it was just, I mean, he should have just written a non-router over the Chinese characters in MS Paint with his thumb and posted that. It was that bad. It was that bad. It was really, really sad. And that was somebody who took advantage of people's. I'm just glad he didn't get the money, because that probably kept him out of jail.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line between fraud, and that's somebody who's taking advantage again of fear, uncertainty, and doubt to sell people an idea, which wasn't actually a product but an idea, allegedly, that didn't work. I mean, he was like, "Oh, I only wanted to sell a couple of these so that developers would help me finish it." Yeah. So on to the next. Grupp will deliver. That dude will deliver, or he will not release anything, period. That is just, that's just the way things are. Dude's
Canadian Glenn is here, but he's not talking. Glenn, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hi, Glenn.
Welcome.
Hey, Gonzo.
That's a sexy mug you got, Glenn.
No shit. Did you see that? Wow, that's fucking cool.
That is incredibly cool.
Yeah, not too many people, I guess, get a personalized mug like that from My White Ninja. The footless My White Ninja.
Yes. The legless, the crippled My White Ninja. Apparently, you're just lucky that when she may or may not have fallen off her porch, well, she may or may not have been having rough sex, she didn't break her arms.
Indeed. That would have been disastrous.
That would have. The entire mug industry would have suffered greatly, and of course, Yan may have regained some footing, and of course we can't have that. Did you see Emmy tweeting today?
No, I don't see Emmy tweeting.
Yeah,
she's got me blocked. I don't follow Emmy tweeting either, but she got RT'd into one of my feeds, and I'm amazed that she can actually walk and breathe at the same time. The fact that she hasn't been dropped dead from stupid is fairly fucking profound. She actually had the stones to come on and talk a bunch of shit about the hacker wars after her and her, whatever the hell he is, sperm donor, sex partner, boyfriend, allegedly ran off with enough money to buy a fairly nice Korean sports car. So I thought it took a lot of stones for her to come on Twitter and start dissing the hacker wars, which is, I haven't seen it. Most people haven't seen it. It's not in wide release, unfortunately. I have a feeling probably it didn't get picked up by a large distributor. So probably we're going to have to watch it on. I'm hoping it gets to Netflix pretty quick. Should be real interesting. The score, YT Cracker did the score. I hear the score is really good. Apparently, one of the reviews that I read said it gives Weave a lot of face time to explain why it is that he's such an asshole. I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty odd. I don't think Weave needs more than 5 minutes to explain why he's such an asshole. That's pretty obvious should be pretty obvious to everybody that why Weave is such an asshole.
Well, he's so consistent. It should be obvious.
Well, yeah, it's obvious. There's something involving a couple of cousins or very close relatives a generation or two back, and then that happened. I mean, hey, you know what, man? I defend the guy's right to say whatever the fuck he wants, but his oven the Jews bullshit He lost me at that. I mean, he wasn't trolling. He wasn't trying to be funny. I don't find that fucking funny anyway. But when you start getting serious about this whole sort of Aryan nation bullshit, it just does make one wonder about somebody's grasp of reality. And there's no doubt that the guy's a fucking great programmer or whatever the hell it is that he does in his spare time. But, you know, you can certainly, you can't say JK just trolling to excuse deep-seated personal opinions. There's trolling to get a reaction out of somebody that has views that are opposing to your own. And then there's posting shit on white nationalist blogs and getting called out on it. You can't say just kidding, just trolling when you're posting some pretty strong, serious fucking shit. That's not trolling, man. That's an opinion. It's one thing to adopt an opinion that you don't believe in just to get a rise out of somebody. I see people do it all the time. Schmoop adopts opinions he doesn't believe in about 15 times a night just to get a rise out of people, and he's fucking great at it. But we've posted some shit on like a National Socialist blog, and I don't think he was trolling the National Socialists. People will take that shit seriously. I take that seriously, and, you know, I'm sure that he'd be happy that I'm offended. But, you know, you want to go through your life offending people, it's all well and good. And, you know, eventually, if he keeps up his antics and whatever, him and Trick and Suki are going to wind up with their own YouTube video, and Weed's last words are going to be, but dude, it's just a friendship windmill. And then you're going to hear a thwack, and that'll be the end of that. And, you know, game over. I don't know, man. It's just, I support free speech, but when free speech becomes hate speech, that's when my support ends abruptly. And that's, maybe I'm just a knee-jerk, you know, maybe I'm becoming conservative in my old age. But it ain't, you know.
I look at it from a different angle, though. I mean, there's been a few people in the last few years who have achieved a certain level of notoriety, we'll call it, on the internet, and it's gone straight to their fucking head. I mean, Weave, Timcast, I mean, I can go on. You know, there are these people that achieve a certain level of popularity or, you know, visits, whatever, and they just think that all of a sudden the internet can't live without them. And what they have to say is fucking serious business. And, you know, forget it, man.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, hey, we can all take a lesson from Cassandra Rules and how to not take ourselves too seriously. Of course, not having breasts that are permanently pushed up and squished together and hitting my chin, I can't really accurately comment on being the queen of the neckbeard masturbation fantasy team club. However, I certainly think that if you go to a place where there is unrest, it probably should be about the story, and it probably shouldn't be about how many bathing suits you can bring with you and, you know, how attractive you look after you've been maced, when in fact it looked like a bukkake festival, which I have to admit, I feel bad that she got maced. Not really, but the photograph was probably the funniest fucking thing I've seen on the internet in at least a month.
Well, as far as Cassandra goes, we don't get along, but really don't have a problem with her. It's just that, you know, she does what she does, and I do what I do, and those paths don't cross. But at least Cassandra would never go to the lengths that somebody like Weave would.
And I agree with you.
I think
However,
she's a little smarter than we give her credit for. She knows what she's posting a lot of the time.
When she came on in Steubenville and started collecting a neckbeard fan club by posting every third post was a tit shot, and then when she befriended a whole bunch of people during Steubenville and then started throwing their doxes around in DMs to further her own agenda, and then when she managed to parlay her social justice warrior persona and, again, more tits into a job with a blog that looks like it was cut and pasted together by a retard, hey, that is what it is. But now she's a paid social justice warrior shill. She's not an activist. She's an employee. So, oh, and by the by, how come she wasn't staying with an embattled family in Ferguson? Why was she in a hotel with a heated pool? These are the kind of questions one asks themselves. One of my friends on Twitter answered that question. Because she wouldn't be safe in the neighborhood she was protesting in if there weren't 100 fucking cops in the neighborhood.
That's true.
That really pretty much sums up hypocrisy in my book. Now, you want to go stay with an embattled family in that neighborhood and take some chances and show some fucking balls? It's one thing. But when you pack a whole bunch of bathing suits and go stay in a hotel with a heated pool and go down when there's 200 cops and you're protected. Oh, God, I volunteered to get maced. You know, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get any respect from me. I'm going to go to imageflip.com and start dropping memes the minute the Bukkake post-mace photos hit. Because fuck you, that's why. I'm sorry, but I just don't have any respect for over self-promoting narcissistic bullshit.
But you know that's what it is. So
that's right, and so I'm going to have fun exploiting that as much as I possibly can.
Oh, okay. I just ignore it.
Because you know what? If it's annoying, then make fun of it. It's like Gamergate. What's that all about? I mean, that should have been a topic that lasted 15 seconds, and it's lasted almost a month.
Oh, Gamergate. That, you know what? I'm a gamer, but I'm not an Xbox kid. I don't, I'm a PC gamer, and Gamergate has gone from corruption in indie game journalism and mainstream game journalism to now it's a battle between neckbeard trolls and far feminists that want to...
it's feminists versus 4chan at this point, which is...
Yeah.
The feminists are fighting a battle that they cannot possibly win because 4chan probably have an average age that's considerably less than the average seasoned Twitter feminist. The feminists have leveraged these inane, quote, threats that they get from these kids that create these Twitter accounts and say, I'm going to burn your house down. And they go, oh, my God, I'm leaving. I'm sure there will be book deals and many, many angry speeches at various conventions. And I do feel bad. I feel worse for the notion that anybody would take these death threats seriously. If I had $1 for every time someone threatened to kill me on the internet, I would never need to work again.
Yeah, no doubt.
I moderated a large forum for many years and I had people come on and tell me they were professional private investigators and ex-Navy SEALs with over 300 kills. And they were going to come and find me. They were going to come and find me and track me down and kill me and do all sorts of obscene things to me with kitchen implements. And not once did anything ever, no one ever did anything. Ever. Yeah. So, I mean, oh my God, somebody said die bitch die, so I better run to a Holiday Inn and leverage this into a book deal. That's that's profitable hysteria, and it doesn't seem very legit to me.
All right. Speaking of feminazis, I have one on the phone, and I'm going to bring her on. Jeez. Hello, Miss Feminazi, my sweetie pie.
Oh, God. You scared me. You scared me. I thought we were gonna get I thought we were gonna get like an angry lesbian. It's like, oh.
Well, I heard kitchen implements, so I had to call in.
Welcome aboard. You're on with Canadian Glenn, with of course Gonzo, and with ANCAP. I will bring Schmoop on in a moment because I know he's dying to tell everybody about the D. So, but I'll let you get some words in.
Schmoop doesn't even craft beer. He doesn't even craft beer.
How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
I'm fine, Joe.
Yeah, I'm hosting a show. The cat has finally passed out and is, I think I'm only bleeding in 2 or 3 spots at the moment. So that's a good thing.
Glenn, is it snowing?
Oh no, it's actually pretty nice here. It's like August weather actually.
I was just wondering. I saw a Foxy post like 5 or 6 weeks ago, something along the lines of like, "Fuck this! I can't fucking believe I live here." And there was like an inch of snow in the parking lot at her job.
Yeah, it's 60 degrees here where I am at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, that's roughly about where it is where I'm at.
Yeah. So what are you doing, my dear? What's how's things in the Zoe household?
Things are good. Kids are well fed with pizza because that's a well-rounded supper. Not
pizza.
Yeah. Listening to y'all. Just and
are you
being
going
very
social?
leader. Huh?
Are you going social justice warrioring?
No.
Oh my God. I didn't know what SJW was the first few times I thought. I thought it was single Jewish woman. I was like, what is the context for this? I found out it's like single Jewish woman. Okay.
Oh, dude, I just found out that thought actually meant whore. I thought they were just fucking illiterate fucks that couldn't spell illiterate or thought.
What does that actually stand for? I know. Like you, I just recently found out it was the new definition of slag or whatever. But what is that short for? I mean,
it just means a hoe.
I know, but it's got to be an acronym for like.
Oh no, you can blame Chief Keef for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because he can't actually spell the word thought.
I actually don't think he can actually spell the word hoe, I think is the problem. He wrote a song called Love No Thoughties. And that's apparently where it comes from.
Oh. Well, this is once again proving to myself that I'm happy that I don't listen to the radio at all, ever. Spotify. I really like Spotify.
Yeah, see, I listen to sports talk radio. That's and my Sirius XM dubstep channel and EDM.
Dubstep. I think I'm probably going to troll you over dubstep at some point in the future.
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to have to work up something about Skrillex being equitable to pots and pans falling out of a shopping cart in the middle of a supermarket.
Well, Skrillex actually sounds like taking an AOL disk and running it through a fax machine. So.
Yes. I can't troll you.
Well, yeah, you got what that sounds like.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with it. I like when the bass fucking shakes my coffee and makes my fucking rearview mirror almost fall off. I'm okay with that.
Earthquake.
So. All right. Because he's unprepared for it, I'm bringing Schmoop back on. Hey, Schmoopy, how's it going? Yep, unprepared.
You see, now we're talking conspiracy theories, and I'd like to mention again that It's pretty obvious that Schmoop has had some sort of accident with his vocal cords, and he can no longer speak. All he has is a soundboard.
I would love to be able to just host a show via a soundboard. That would be phenomenal.
Entire soundboard show.
Yep.
It's like mining with sound effects.
Try out this recipe I made for craft beer tacos dipped in craft beer, and don't even. It's fake beer. It's American piss beer. That is mainstream. Hey, did you hear about Lincoln Park's last show? They were also tagged on craft beers.
Oh, hey, did you guys hear today? The FBI released via a source part of their investigation into the Mike Brown shooting that they found his blood in the inside of the police car. They found his blood on the uniform of Darren Wilson and on the steering wheel and on the seat. From a gunshot wound to his arm that happened inside the car. So, you know what? All those folks in Ferguson, I think you guys are protesting somebody who might not be quite so innocent. Just saying.
Yeah, my God, I can't believe Cassandra traveled all that way on somebody else's nickel to stay in a heated pool with 2 bikinis to protest a guy who actually looks like he might have actually deserved to catch 2 in the head. Son of a bitch. It's happened again. This is what happens when we have emotional reactions before we know the facts. But then again, she wouldn't be employed if this was about the facts and not about emotions, because it's much easier to stand around with a push-up bra and holding an FTP banner to pay your fucking bills than it is to actually, I don't know, do investigative journalism, which obviously I know that she takes her cues in investigative journalism from Dell, who never met the term investigative to him means copy paste, but whatever. It is what it is. They really should have gotten married, but I would have paid them to stay and neuter themselves if that had happened.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Well, never mind her for a minute. You tell me where in United States law that apprehension
say when you see your TV floating in the middle
in this means is acceptable.
Round.
I mean, it
Glenn,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he did.
Glenn, you're a pale blonde Canadian. You are certainly scared of all black people.
Bullshit.
They see you coming, man. They're thinking, that's one tasty piece of pale blonde Canadian.
Bullshit.
No, Glenn, I'm just yanking your chain. You're my favorite far lefty.
So
yeah,
am I a Marxist now, or?
No. I don't think you've suggested that the U.S. and Canada unify and that we all turn into one large collective farm. You're not far from the collective farm idea. I hope I didn't just put that idea into your head. I feel awfully
bad.
It's
actually not a bad idea, actually.
No, I'm a city boy.
Well, it depends on what kind of farm it is, probably.
Wait, we're not gardening?
Well, that's not a farm.
When you think about it, mainly a bunch of countries are a bunch of human farms.
Dalek, you cannot farm methamphetamine, so your point is invalid.
Well, at least I
All right,
can make money with that.
I'm having a caller here unscreened. I know it's not Schmoop. Actually, it might be from another phone. Caller unscreened, you're on the air.
Just one question for you. Are you ready?
Hi, Cass. That was Cassandra, everyone. Hi, Cass.
No.
We ready for what?
I forgot that Smoop has more than one the ability to call in from multiple numbers. Phenomenal. I should have realized that when I saw the area code. But so anyway, I agree that the dude probably shouldn't have gotten shot 7 times. However,
no, because they could have done it in 2.
Yeah.
So what we have here is a marksmanship issue.
Yeah. Had Derek Wilson been a better shot,
exactly,
things would be a lot different. And I would also like to point out that, dear American police, shoot people in the fucking legs. Just try it. Hit him.
Yeah.
Hit it. I know you're trained to fucking aim for the chest because of stopping power, but you know what? Police departments in other parts of the world shoot people in the feet. They shoot them in the ass. They shoot them in the leg. Something, so that they don't kill them, because their cops don't really want to kill anybody. They're actual policemen. So just stop aiming for the head and the chest, and be a better shot. Fucking, we've all seen the TV cop shows where buddy whips out the gun and fucking shoots a guy in the hand, so he can't. No, not in modern day police. They'd be pulling out an AK-47, emptying the clip, going, "I'm going to read you your rights now." That, and again, I hate having to say that they shouldn't have shot the guy 8 times, but if the dude was running away after he got shot in the arm, shoot him in the ass, or put out an APB and say, "Hey, there's a dude that just got shot in the arm. Look for him at the fucking hospital, please." In Canada earlier this year, we had a dude that executed RCMP officers. They brought him in alive. Like, how fucking cool is that? Like, they actually caught the dude.
And Glenn, just so you know, Glenn, I mean, I am certainly being satirical with some of my opinions, and certainly trying to yank your chain some. I know that. I could issue a 40-page disclaimer, but I think you get the idea. I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
But it is totally, like Puppy's saying, it is totally different in Canada. I mean, there's a lot of bad shit that goes on in Toronto and Vancouver and Montreal regarding racial quotas, shall we say, with police and minorities. But still, if this kind of shit happened in Canada, that happened in Ferguson, you would see the same thing in Canada. Because it's just too far. There's no explanation for it, and there's no follow-up at all.
Yeah, they just shot somebody else in Ferguson the other day. Only this time it was the ATF, and all I've seen were tweets about fuck the police, another shooting, another innocent, blah blah blah. Except it turns out the dude fucking robbed a bank and tried to run over a cop in the car, so they fucking shot him. And that was the ATF, who doesn't have a history of racial indifference in Ferguson. They're actually,
there are 50 police officers in Ferguson. Out of 50 police officers on staff in Ferguson, exactly 3 of them are black. I just read that statistic today. I don't even know what it means. Actually I do. That means 6%, which means that the "we are 1% doesn't really apply. But yeah, so 6% are. But here's the thing: you got 3 out of 50. If you don't think that the 3 are going to be twice, the 3 black cops in Ferguson are going to be twice as hard on black people, as the 47 white cops are, you'd be wrong, because they have to prove, which is completely fucked up and unfair and imbalanced and screwed up, but they're under peer pressure to prove that there's no, quote, favoritism, which is part of this whole racial imbalance, inequality, fuck up bullshit that goes on in this country. I've spent a lot of time in Europe and a ton of time in Amsterdam. And in Amsterdam, let's see, there is never an uncomfortable moment when a black guy comes in with a white girlfriend, or a white guy comes in with a black girlfriend, or a black guy comes in with a white boyfriend, or a white guy comes in with a black boyfriend. Nobody gets a flying foot because everybody, the bottom line here, and this is, I know this is going to sound hackneyed and old, but the thing is, we all bleed the same fucking color. We all bleed red. Who gives a flying fuck about skin color? I don't care. I'm not prejudiced. I don't give a shit. I don't hate anybody unless, I hate everyone equally. That's the way I look at it. I mean, or I love everyone equally. I don't have any built-in prejudice built on predisposed ideas about anything. If I don't like you, I don't fucking like you because you're a fucking asshole. And because you've shown me you're a fucking asshole.
Well,
I've never predisposed, oh, look, that person is such and such. Oh, my God, that guy. Now, I will say, upper lower class on Twitter. He's a white dude. He's a social worker out in Seattle. Now, he's funny as shit. I wish he'd write a book about how he's burning out on social work. Now, I could say satirically that because he has the largest collection of Under Armour clothing of any white guy I know that doesn't do CrossFit, that I probably have some prejudice built in because no white guy who doesn't do CrossFit should own as much Chinese-made, overhyped bullshit that mostly 7th graders wear, but yet he has this giant collection of Under Armour clothing. Okay, that's a prejudice. I don't like Under Armour clothing for a lot of different reasons, but it has nothing to do with his skin tone. It has to do with his choice of product purchasing. That's pretty, I mean, we live in such a silly, fucked up world, and we need to all be willing to take it a lot more lightly and enjoy it. And, if I go out tomorrow and I get to, and the sun refracts off the chemtrails and the spider webs and the nanotechnology, I just hope that the near field technology in my new Android phone isn't off-put by these spider webs and causes my contact list to clear. Because other than that, I'm going to have a fucking good day.
Could I ask
Yeah, go ahead.
a quick question to Gonzo? Why don't you like Under Armour?
Because it's cheap Chinese shit, and you can buy basically the same stuff that's not branded for about 1/5 as much. And
yeah, okay.
That's all. It's just hype. I mean, it's just hype. That's all. I go to my younger relatives' sporting events and see younger children running around in $70 Under Armour sweatshirts that they're going to outgrow in 6 months, but they've got to have it because they've got to have it. And probably just because I'm getting to be a cranky old fuck in my old age. It's just, I don't give a shit about a black sweatshirt with neon green nylon lining, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't fucking care. But I see this stuff, and I'm sure that 30 years ago, my parents probably looked at the shit I was wearing and said, oh, Jesus, what is he thinking? And now here I am watching my younger relatives, and I'm going, Jesus, what are they thinking? I think it's probably been the same for 1,000 years. Probably in the 50s, when people started wearing Levi's and leather jackets, the parents were going, what the fuck are they thinking? And here we are, 60 years later, thinking the exact same thing. It's nothing new.
You're embracing your inner thrift.
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
No,
I'm proud of you, Gonzo.
Myself, I just buy, Carhartt, and I have a penchant for Ralph Lauren, not for the actual fashion, but because the Ralph Lauren stuff that I bought, I've got 25-year-old Ralph Lauren shirts that, because they've been dry cleaned or actually 20-year-old Ralph Lauren shirts that, because they've been dry cleaned and well taken care of, look just like brand new Ralph Lauren shirts. The fuck would I buy anything else? Yes.
All right, I got that.
Doesn't been around for long.
Grabbing another unscreened caller, which is probably Schmoop again. Caller, you're on unscreened.
Hi, can I speak to Champ? Is Champ there?
No, unfortunately, the Champ is not here.
That question will be answered this Sunday
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the.
Poppy, what was the punchline to that? I completely missed that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a John Cena joke in there somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, I think possibly, maybe, potentially. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, get back to the conspiracy line for a minute. Gonzo, you said that in a place like Amsterdam, nobody gives a fuck. Well, yeah, that's Amsterdam. They're not wound up 24/7 with the American culture, and divide and conquer is strategy number one in North America and Western Europe.
You know what, Glenn? I'll explain this to you. Before I left America in the very early 2000s and started doing a bunch of world travel, I am quite certain I had a very narrow view of how the rest of the world thinks. But since I have shared bowls of noodles with people sitting on cardboard squares who didn't have homes in third world countries and talked, and have also sat in hash bars in Amsterdam while talking to Russian hookers and Russian fighter pilots who are smoking hash in Amsterdam coffee shops, and a wide variety of really interesting people from all over the world, I have a much bigger worldview. And what annoys me more than anything is, like on Twitter, watching somebody, seeing, now that I have a Lux account, I don't have to view this shit, but watching a lot of the things that go on Twitter by Americans, and this is your main beef, I think, is that they have this incredibly closed-minded worldview. Here's the thing, man. If you've never actually been to other countries or other continents and made an effort, I went to Jamaica, and you stayed behind, in a fenced-in, all-inclusive resort. You didn't go anywhere. But if you went to Nibiru and you hung out in neighborhoods that Cassandra wouldn't fucking dare hang out in, and talk to real people about real things, and then you come home with a different perspective. And I've been all over the world, and I've gone out of my way. I've never stayed in a sealed environment. I've gone out of my way to make myself very uncomfortable to try to learn more about the human experience worldwide. And what I brought home with me was a wider view, which I hope makes me a better person. When you see some moron like Randy Hahn, who has never gotten further than the local pharmacy to pick up the at least 15 different bottles of shit that allow him to function as a basic human being, spouting all his fucking ridiculous bullshit, and then you see that characterized when I'm sitting in a bar in Manila and I'm talking to an Australian who immediately categorizes me as being as fucking dumb as Randy Hahn because simply I come from America, and then I got to work for 3 hours and 35 beers and a bottle of Johnny Walker that guy? I started telling people in Asia after my first trip that I was from Canada, because when I said I'm from the U.S., it was 16 hours of constant fucking bullshit having to deal with the kind of stuff that you talk about all the time. Believe it or not, if I said I was from Canada, they go, oh, that's cool, man. That's it. But if I said USA, it was George Bush, Obama, foreign policy, Donald Rumsfeld, blah, blah, blah. Shit I don't even want to fucking talk about. If I said I was from Canada, they were like, oh, right on, man. And that was the end of it. I mean, it was like, the conversation ended, dead fucking ended. You say the USA, and I'm going to spend the next, best part of my vacation explaining that I didn't vote for him or this, and I don't agree with any of this shit. And the biggest question that was always posed to me is, how can you allow this to happen? I'm like, how the fuck can I allow this to happen? What? I'm a single person. I don't agree with any of the things that you disagree with. I agree completely with you. However, there's a proletariat here that is completely fucked up that's allowed a bunch of weird shit to happen, and here we are in the middle of this mess. So, again, what I would encourage these closeted, fucking ignorant, dumb motherfuckers in the middle of the Ozarks to do is buy a plane ticket to someplace, get out of your element, and start talking to people from other places. And, free your mind and your ass will follow, I think George Clinton said, and then come back home and put what you learned from seeing 3-year-old children sleeping on cardboard boxes on sidewalks because, there's no Salvation Army on small southern islands in the Philippines. Put that kind of thinking to work on how to solve your problems at home and look at your life and look how fucking privileged you are. The things that you take for granted, most people don't fucking have. And that's how I try to live my life. I've been blessed with some great privilege in my life, and that's not to say that I've got tons of money or anything. It's just that I've had some incredible adventures and done some incredible things, and I tried to learn from all of them. I didn't spend my time in Amsterdam just sitting around in coffee shops. I did plenty of that. But I spent a lot of time at the Van Gogh Museum and in the Anne Frank House multiple times and doing, more constructive things than, sitting in a coffee shop comparing varieties of hash, which, beyond a certain level, there is a ceiling for that. Anyhow, it's very important that people get out of their comfort zone, go to uncomfortable places, and do uncomfortable things as recreation in order to grow as human beings. Or you stagnate, and then bad shit happens, and you wind up with a fucked up situation like the things that we're dealing with right here, right now.
Yep, indeed. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to end the broadcast because it's fucking 3 minutes left. Yeah, 3 minutes left. So final thoughts. Let's go to you, Sweetie Pie Zoe. Your final thoughts for the evening.
I think from now on when people ask me where I'm from, I'm going to tell them I'm from Candyland.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Glenn, Glenn, your final thoughts.
Well, thanks for extending the show since the boss jammed out on us again. Big surprise there. It looks like ANCAP and Auntie might do a show. But, way to soldier on, pup. Good show. Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming on. Dalek, your final thoughts.
We're doing the show. I think it's going to be around the midnight hour. Come in live. It's Third Rail Radio. 646-929-1480.
All right, thanks for calling in, Dalek. Mr. Gonzo, PhD, sir, your final thoughts for the evening.
I think this entire show has been inadvertently a high percentage of my thoughts. So I think I'm kind of out of thoughts. It was a really good show. I enjoyed it, as always. I think we had a lot of fun. I hope we made some people think about things. And if they didn't, then, fuck them.
Yep.
Fuck them if they can't make a joke, right?
Indeed. All right. Well,
right,
thank you for calling in, brother. I will give you a shout tomorrow.
Always
Thanks for coming on.
Hey,
All right.
good night.
Good night. Putting guns on hold. And also like to announce that on Friday, the 24th at 9 o'clock Eastern, join me and Firecore for a Share Radio present show on mental health in America. Be my third show on mental health issues in the U.S., on the planet in general. And Becca inquired about it. Nobody's been hitting me up with show ideas, so I'm definitely going to take her up on that. So, indeed, Friday the 24th, myself and Firecore and probably a few others will be talking about mental health. So remember, folks, take your tinfoil hats off and live a little. And with that, peace, love, happiness, unfuck the world. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.